the years. He's been talking to Marty Morrissey.
TJ, you're unique being an ex-Mayo footballer and now, of course, being involved in club management with St Mary's in Sligo. So how do you see this game going?
Well, firstly, Marty, I'm delighted to see Sligo in the Connacht final, and they've brought a lot of colour here with them today. It's been a long time, 16 years, and it's 22 years rather, since they won their last Connacht title. So it's great to see them here. But I do believe that Mayo will be too strong for them today. I think they've got too much craft, too much experience, a lot of it gained last year, and they're highly motivated to get back to Croke Park and maybe try and finish some unfinished business that was not achieved last year. Having said that, Sligo are a young team, they're a footballing team, and I think that the perception that they may be well beaten here today, I don't go along with that at all. The wind is fairly strong here today, Marty, and it's got stronger in the afternoon, so that may be a factor, and whoever plays with the wind would want to be, I think, a few points up at half-time.
Obviously, though, TJ, it's Sligo that would need a good start to make a match of it.
Yeah, very much so. They got a great start against Roscommon when, incidentally, they played against the wind, so whether they adopt the same tactics today or not, I don't know, but they would feel they would need to get a good start and to be within sort of a reasonable distance of Mayo, and if they do, then anything can happen in a football match. But over the 70 minutes, I feel Mayo will be too strong physically, and with a strong backup bench as well, if need be, I think Mayo will come out victorious by maybe 4 or 5 points.
Well, obviously Mayo are being very cautious about this game. They'll be trying to drill it into the players, not to take anything for granted today, but nonetheless it can get into the back of your mind when you have been made red-hot favourites for a match like this. What about it from a Sligo point of view? Well, they have won just 2 Connacht titles down through the years, in 1928, 1975. I was there for one of them, and it wasn't, by the way, the 1928 one. 1975, when players like Mickey Kearns were involved. He has also been talking to Marty Morrissey.
Mickey, they were saying down in Sligo during the week that they wouldn't travel in their thousands. They seem to be here in their hundreds of thousands. There's so many Sligo people here.
Yeah, there's big support. The crowd seems to be much bigger than I thought it would be. But I still think Mayo have them outnumbered.
Do you think that Sligo have any chance, your own county?
Well, I hope that I hope they have a big chance, but I think this is a very good Mayo team, and that will be a big task today in front of them. I would be very pleased if they get out of here with 3 or 4 points the wrong side.
Do you think this team is long-term a very potential good side in terms of your own county again?
Definitely, I would say that there's a future for this Sligo team. There are 7 of them under 21 years of age and 3 or 4 more of them in 22, 23. So I think there is a good future, and the people of Sligo, the teachers and around the schools, are working very well with underage players.
The atmosphere here is something I haven't experienced in a Connacht final. It's wonderful. There's a great buzz.
It's a while since we have seen a buzz like that as well, but I think they may be expecting a little bit too much of this Sligo team today.
It's going to be Mayo's day.
I think Mayo will win the All-Ireland.
OK, so says Mickey Kearns, former Sligo player. There's no doubt, Tony Davis, there is a good future for Sligo football. They've made a lot of progress, but is there a present for them?
There is a future for them, but I don't think today is going to be their day. Mayo are a very good team, probably one of the best teams in Ireland at the moment, and would be favourites to win the All-Ireland, I think, in my own mind. So what I'd like to see from Mayo today is ruthlessness to finish off the Sligo challenge as early as possible.
This will be important for them, Pat. If they are to win today, they'll want to win impressively. They know now, of course, that Meath are still there in the championship as well.
They will in Mayo Meath confrontation in the semi-final. I think Mayo have the experience.
With respect to Offaly, of course.
I think it will be Mayo Meath All-Ireland semi-final. Mayo have the strength and experience here. Hopefully from Sligo, I think it will be a very easy victory for Mayo. Hopefully they won't demoralise this Sligo, because like I said, they are young and they are building for the future, but a big setback here could prove a problem for them. But Mayo to win easy, and hopefully we'll have some bit of interest in the second half to tune into.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for your thoughts. So you can see the pictures in the background. The players are getting ready for this Connacht final of 1997. Martin Carney joins Marty Morrissey in the commentary box.
Thank you very much, Michael, and welcome to Dr. Hyde Park, Roscommon. And we look forward to a most enjoyable Connacht final. Most people tell me here that it's going to be an easy game for Mayo, but talking to all the Sligo people, there certainly is a belief that today is going to be their day. Martin Carney, just a quick word before the throw in. How do you see it going?
Well, we're looking for a good game, Marty. Certainly I would hope to see Sligo taking the game to Mayo. And certainly if there's a win, they must have a very good start.
And here at Dr. Hyde Park, Oran Naveen. Certainly here at Hyde Park, great atmosphere. This is the Mayo team. Ronan Golding will be wearing number 15. He comes in for the suspended Colin McMenamin. Otherwise, it looks very familiar. The Sligo team, very, very young. All 22. The oldest is 23 in the forward line, and the oldest player is only just 27. That's Paul Durkin, the midfielder. Match referee is Michael Curley from County Galway, and the Connacht final is underway. Playing against the Breeze in the first half are the boys from Sligo, and they're hoping, praying that they're going to have a good start because they need it against the Connacht champions. Pat Fallon. Against the Breeze, remember, the Sligo boys. This is John Casey. Nice interception. Back to Casey again. But Sligo come away with it. Huge Sligo support here, surprisingly, in terms that out of the crowd of about 27,000, there might be indeed 12, 13 in favour of Sligo. And all neutrals, perhaps, as well. This is Ronan Golding, being hooshed off it by Mark Cosgrove. First time live on television, many of these Sligo players. It's a daunting task. Noel Kennelly's pass intercepted once more. To the centre half-back, Nigel Clancy. Big Dermot Keaveney. To the right half-back, Bernard Mulhern. Going forward, trying to find Eamon O'Hara. And the corner forward, Jerry McGowan. Peter Burke. Pat Holmes. Now he's the full-back. He's more familiar out there, playing at right half-back. So the first sideline ball of the afternoon to Sligo. Bernard Mulhern intercepting again to Mark Cosgrove. They're coming forward. This is Nigel Carew, who's brought down, and that's the first free of the match.
Indeed, Marty, Brendan Mulhern actually has started the game very well, and it's very encouraging actually from a Sligo viewpoint to see the way they have got into the game and are actually running very, very hard at Mayo into that strong wind.
Free is not a good one. It comes to centre half forward James Horn. Over towards Kieran MacDonald. He's scored 6 points in the championship so far, and that's the first wide of the match for Mayo. Kieran MacDonald has added a new sparkle, a new dimension to this Mayo attack, and along with Maurice Sheridan has contributed 20 points between them in 2 matches.
It's been a huge bonus actually, Marty. He spent last year in America, and I know he greatly missed being part of the All-Ireland scene, and he's really out with a vengeance this year to make up for the year he missed.
The Connacht goalkeeper is the Sligo goalkeeper, Pat Kilcoyne. Intended pass didn't work out, comes straight to Nigel Clancy. He plays his club football, by the way, in Sarsfields in Belfast. He's a native of Ballymote. Dermot Flanagan. Down in Sligo, they feel if there's any weakness in this Mayo team, it's in the full back line, and they're hoping perhaps to expose Pat Holmes and Dermot Flanagan. But it's the Sligo full back line that's in trouble here. MacDonald, a quick little pace. The first point of the Connacht final. The man, indeed, that we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely, he must have heard us speaking, Marty. Beautiful left-footed shot over the bar. But again, the game, the move started with Dermot Flanagan out on the left-hand side. Go on to Liam McHale. Liam, a good crossfield ball. Kieran gets onto his trusty left foot, gets inside his marker and kicks a beautiful point.
Despite a lot of tenacious play by Sligo, they are playing against the Breeze and they're down by 1 point. McHale punching it away, and that's going to be the second line ball of the match for Sligo. Outside the wire this afternoon, of course, is John Maughan. This is his punishment for the infringement in the semi-final against Leitrim. Nigel Carew, beaten again by Kieran MacDonald. He has support, he has confidence, but he's also inaccurate. And I think Kieran knows he should have scored.
Absolutely should have scored there. Actually, he possibly had too much time, Marty. And in fact, he also had Maurice Sheridan doing a very good off-the-ball run inside him. He perhaps should have given the ball off there. But an easy miss, actually.
This is the only married man on the Sligo team. They talked about the Clare hurling team in '95 being a team of bachelors. There are 14 bachelors on the Sligo team. So can you imagine the headlines tomorrow if the Yates County win their third Connacht title? Bernard Mulhern took a little bit too much out of it and shouldered by Noel Kennelly, Mayo captain. David Nestor wants it quick and long. Nigel Carew again is beaten. There's a goal and a chance here. John Casey, brilliant save by Pat Kilcoyne. A let-off for Sligo. But Niall Carew, the man with possession, is being beaten easily by Kieran MacDonald. A change will have to be made. And it's Mayo yet again. Unquestionably brought down and undoubtedly a booking for the Sligo number 9, Dermot Keaveney. This man from Easky is a farmer and has played virtually everywhere for Sligo. And he's the first man to be booked in the Connacht final.
Undoubtedly, Marty, that was a great chance for John Casey, and it actually sums up his lack of confidence actually as a full forward at the moment. And it's a 1-against-1, he should have possibly put it away. Again, David Nestor takes the ball, gives it inside him. He has tons of room, gets inside Bernard Mulhern, and again, a great save by Pat Kilcoyne.
So 6 minutes gone in the first half. 1 point for Mayo, one real great goal opportunity. Sligo with possession. Here's Dermot Keaveney. Dermot Flanagan battling with Desi Sloan. Pat Holmes, Dermot Flanagan to the sideline. Eamon O'Hara, Dermot Keaveney trying to find Paul Taylor, knocked away by Pat Holmes. Liam McHale looking for somebody available. It's not a good ball, easily cut out by Brendan Kilcoyne, the captain. Another man, in fact, that plays his club football outside Sligo. He's with St. Eunan's in Letterkenny. Paul Durkin, full-time GA coach in County Sligo and indeed the province of Connacht. And they're going to be aiming all the time, you will find, at the full forward Paul Taylor. He's the captain to take a quick free. This is Paul Taylor from Eastern Harps, taking on Pat Holmes, floating in a ball which is curling magnificently. That is a great point by Paul Taylor. He is undoubtedly one of the best footballers in the country. For the people of Ireland, it might be the first time they're seeing him live on TV.
Again, it's a great pass out, but again, Paul Taylor's beautifully two-footed player, and there from a very difficult angle launches the ball over the bar with his left foot. I think Pat Holmes possibly thought he was going to come on to his right, but he's equally as good with his left foot.
First kick out for Peter Burke. Trying to burst his way forward, Fergal Costello. James Nallen. It's a long ball, and Pat Kilcoyne should be there. His fullback is Colin White. The corner forward is Ronan Golding. James Horn trying to float it in towards Noel Kennelly. Sligo are there again, but oh, nice skill. Good play by MacDonald. And that's gone to the left and wide. The second time in the match for Mayo. And just players trying to tell Kieran just to take it easy and cool the efforts down, perhaps. Just slow it down.
Again, Marty, that was a beautiful example of a chip lift there, and Kieran MacDonald again got onto his trusty left foot, but unfortunately from a Mayo viewpoint it went just narrowly wide. But already he is showing himself to be the danger man in there in the full forward line.
And surprisingly enough, Mickey Moran hasn't decided to switch cornerbacks as of yet. Bernard Mulhern tackled by Ronan Golding and fouled. This is a line ball for Mayo, and the linesman is overruled by the referee. Here's the left half forward. Nice play here by Brian Walsh. Beautifully knocked away by Pat Fallon. Jerry McGowan going down on it. Good play by the Turles Strand clubman. Paul Durkin. Back to Brian Walsh. He's the man on for Philip Neary. It's a good ball indeed. Gathered by Eamon O'Hara. And watch O'Hara as well. Indeed, Kevin Killeen. Good play by Sligo. And it's a sea of black and white around Hyde Park.
Actually, Marty, this is just the start Sligo needed. And again, a great ball in here from Ken Killeen across the square. It's fielded by Eamon O'Hara. He lays it back. And again, under pressure, ball is flicked over the bar. Very, very good score.
For the majority of people who haven't seen Sligo play, the players really to watch out are Eamon O'Hara, the centre half forward, and Paul Taylor. They really are superb players. Liam McHale gets his free.
Actually, Marty, the three Sligo half forwards, both Ken Killeen, Eamon O'Hara and Brian Walsh, have started very, very well and are picking up a side of ball around the middle of the field. And again, are running at the Mayo defence.
From Ball and County Mayo, Maurice Sheridan. Much to the delight of the Sligo fans, it's wide. And the referee has in fact brought in the ball a little bit closer.
I think what he has done, Marty, he has overruled the wide ball, and he has given Maurice Sheridan a kick from about 25 metres out, simply because he was being distracted by two of the Mayo, or by two of the Sligo defenders, as he was in the process of kicking the ball, which is in fact a rule in the book.
Maurice Sheridan's second attempt. Comes back off the post. Well, now, that is a bit of a miss, to say the least. Passing by Sligo, just a little bit panicky. It's Sheridan again, trying to float one in. Who is marking David Nestor? Terrible effort underneath it. Nigel Clancy punched away, and there's nobody there from Mayo. Mark Cosgrove is there for Sligo. So too is the captain, Brendan Kilcoyne. Dermot Keaveney needs to get rid of it to Nigel Clancy. Well done, Sligo. This is the point scorer, Paul Taylor. Well picked up by Dermot Flanagan. Maurice Sheridan again adopting the Colin McMenamin role of an extra midfielder. David Nestor. An easy ball from Mark Cosgrove. It was easy. It should have been. Inside is Kieran MacDonald, and there's a point. And that was an early Christmas present from Sligo.
Indeed it was, Marty. Mark Cosgrove did everything right. He positioned himself perfectly to cut out the crossfield ball from David Nestor, but mishandled, and again the most dangerous man on the Mayo team happened to get on the end of the pass from Ronan Golding and rifled it over the far confidently with his left foot.
And Mickey Moran, who was the only doubtful starter indeed, because he hurt his disc in his back during the week and was in tremendous pain, and he's a little bit concerned and is having a chat with his fellow selectors at the moment. Bernard Mulhern Centre forward Eamon O'Hara. There's a belief in Sligo because they've done so well at minor and under 21 grade against Mayo. They haven't beaten them, mind you, in the Connacht Championship since '75. But they really are in with a great chance this afternoon. But mistakes have to be cut down to the very minimum. So far, there's been one big one.
Just one big one, actually, again by the cornerback, Mark Cosgrove. But they've started very well, Marty. And I must say, I'm delighted with the way they're carrying the game to Mayo. And it's certainly, if they can continue with this, we're in for a great contest.
That's a great point. Wonderful point. Maurice Sheridan's first point of the Connacht final puts the champions in front by 1.
Well, indeed, that's third time lucky, actually, because the two earlier ones he got were much easier kicks than that. That, again, was a superb ball, struck with the outside of his right foot from the sideline. And it'll certainly kind of boost his confidence, which seemed to sag a little bit.
Well, we were making the point earlier, Martin, that Mayo's top scorers are Maurice Sheridan and Kieran MacDonald. And today, Mayo's 3 points have been scored by both players.
Absolutely. And the straws in the wind there.
Here's Sheridan again. Down to David Nestor. Kieran MacDonald. Linesman had waved at the far side that the Mayo man was outside the line, so that's going to be a line ball. I do feel, Martin, I don't know whether you agree with me or not, that Sligo seem to be in trouble, particularly in the full-back line, particularly the two cornerbacks.
Well, certainly Niall Carew is struggling a little bit on Kieran MacDonald at the moment. And the other person who's actually struggling a little bit is probably Bernard Mulhern, trying to keep up with David Nestor. David Nestor's creating a lot of trouble. But I'm saying that Bernard Mulhern is still playing a bit of ball, but he's giving too much room to Nestor.
Over this side, Ronan Goulding. Combining nicely with John Casey. Not a good pass inside, nicely picked up by Colin White. And that is unnecessary. And that is going to be a booking, surely, for Ronan Goulding. And he is sending him off. Ronan Goulding, who has just come back onto the Mayo team, has been sent off by the referee, Michael Curley of Galway. That seems to be the reason. Let's have a look at this again. In fact, he's not. He signalled he wanted the other player to go away, but it looked like Goulding was being sent off.
Well, I think that was one thing, and I also think he may have been sending off the actual team Masur who was coming in. But Ronan Goulding that time gave a bad pass and a silly foul. Again, a neck-high tackle is always dangerous, but certainly I didn't think it had any malintent in it, and I don't think it would have been deserving of a sending off.
So Ronan Goulding stays on. It was just that the referee signalled over his shoulder, pointed to the sideline. Now, here's James Horn. This time, Niall Carew. That's a free for Sligo.
Indeed, Marty, that should do Niall Carew's confidence no end of good, because that was a 50-50 ball with Kieran MacDonald, and that's the first one that he's won. There he is, gets in, and Kieran MacDonald does nudge him in the back, and Niall deserves his free out.
Colin White taking the free. Pat Fallon going down on it. Comes out towards Eamon O'Hara. And every time Eamon O'Hara gets the ball, you can see that Mayo are a little bit aware of his potential. They're trying to crowd him out. Now, Paul Taylor is sizing himself up for this kick. It's against the breeze. Surely he's not going to try for a point from there. It's dropping in. Goalkeeper, Peter Byrne, underneath it. Centre back, James Nallen. Into the space, but too strong. Sideline ball for Sligo. And yet another one. Tommy O'Malley and Peter Ward looking on, and just a little bit, Peter Ford rather, just looking a little bit concerned perhaps. Liam McHale. And coming away in a sweeping counter-attack is Fergal Costello. Has he got support? He has. James Horn going for the point. And again it hit off the post. Second time. Ronan Golding. Difficult angle, but it's floating. Well, one umpire says over the bar, the other says wide.
Certainly from here, Marty, it looked to be a good point, actually. Because it's actually right in our angle here, and it looked to be a good point, actually.
Let's look at this again, Mark.
Again, the ball comes out the post. Ronan gets onto the ball, kicks it with his right foot. Okay, we can't see it too well from this angle, but from the angle we're watching it from the commentary box here, it seemed to go inside the post.
And the referee has given the points to Mayo. So Mayo lead now by 2 points. And overall, Martin, if Sligo maintain this sort of performance, they'll be quite happy at half-time.
Well, I certainly think if they go in with only 2 or 3 points down at half-time, with the wind in their favour in the second half, they will be more than happy, because that wind is considerable.
Paul Durkin received a nasty knock there.
Here again is from a different angle, and Ronan Golding takes that with his right foot, and actually that appears to be a very valid point. And again, the umpire on the far side,
yes,
actually was the umpire better placed to make a decision on it.
And of course, that point stood. Mayo lead by 4 points to 2. Brian Walsh from Tubbercurry hits it solidly, but to the right and wide. And that is Sligo's first wide of the match.
One thing, Marty, that is noticeable, Liam McHale has opened very well in this game, much better than in a lot of his games earlier in the year.
2 Sligo players going up with him. This is corner forward Desi Sloan, still battling with it. And Ronan Golding is back there to help out Dermot Flanagan. Up towards James Horn. The overlap supplied by David Nestor. Nice skill by the young man from Ballyhonus. Referee gives the free, quickly taken. James Horn. Having a shot, which is going straight over the bar. He scored 1 point against Leitrim. He's now scored 1 point against Sligo.
That's a fine point by James Horn, but again, credit is due to the quick thinking of David Nestor there. Here's the ball coming out to James, very anxious to get on it, anxious to get a good performance actually. Gets it onto his right foot, and again from 40 metres straight over the bar. But again, credit is due more so to David Nestor, the way he picked him out with a bit of quick thinking there.
And John Maughan looking a little bit happier, if you consider that a happy pose. Just still very concerned. And I think he's every reason to be, because while there are times when Mayo look impressive, you would expect against Sligo that they'd be more dominant. It's a well-won, hard-won ball by Pat Holmes, who's picked up an injury in the process. Pat Fallon thought the referee had blown his whistle, now he continues on. Another free for Mayo.
I think Marty, Pat Holmes has picked up a knock there, and he seems to have trouble with his elbow at the moment. He's dusted himself down now. He appears to be okay, but I thought he had picked up a knock there in his elbow or in his back.
Punched away, but it only comes to big Liam McHale. James Horn, great block down by Colin White. And Sligo come away with it. Ken Killeen up towards Desi Sloan. Being well marked by Dermot Flanagan, and the referee allows the advantage. That's good refereeing by Michael Curley. And it's Pat Fallon again. Pumping it in long towards John Casey. Liam McHale is available outside if he needs him. Still John Casey trying to get inside Colin White. McHale from a very difficult angle. And that has gone wide. Our sideline reporter this afternoon is Jim Carney.
Thank you very much indeed, Marty. Well, I can tell you that Sligo are preparing to make a switch. They'll be bringing in Sean Davey from Curry for Desi Sloan, the right full forward who hasn't really got into the game, and Dermot Flanagan is dominant there. Sligo are also very concerned about the amount of freedom that Bernard Mulhern is giving David Nestor, and they're also asking their half forward line to spread out and keep the game spread. So in comes Sean Davey for Desi Sloan in a minute.
James Horn having a shot, and that's gone wide. So interesting positional changes, and surprisingly in the attack rather than in defence, Martin.
Yes, well, actually, Sean Dave, who's coming in, possibly might be brought out as a third midfielder. He has played in midfield quite a bit, a very good underage midfielder. I think he's only 19 years of age. And possibly what I can see them doing is maybe bringing him out, taking Dermot Flanagan out with him in order to try and maybe run the legs of him a little bit.
He's just after doing his leaving cert, so he's a very young player from the Curry club, Sean Davey. He'll be wearing number 18 when he appears on your screen next time. Line ball for Mayo. Neil Carew. Eamon O'Hara. Paul Durkin, back to O'Hara. And again, they won't allow him any space. The Mayo players very much aware of O'Hara and Taylor. Desi Sloan combining nicely with Brian Walsh. Trying to get possession is Pat Fallon. The referee gives the free in, and that's a good opportunity for Sligo to register a point.
Yeah, yes, again, Brian Walsh taking on first of all James Nallen, then gets past Pat Fallon, and to be fair to him, he probably got a slight nudge in the back there as he was taking his kick, and he deserves the free in. And it's going to be taken now, interestingly, by Desi Sloan.
And he puts that over the bar. He scored one against Roscommon, one against Mayo. It's 5 points to 3. One happy Sligo woman. McHale. Racing for it. David Nestor. McHale to John Casey. Two providing the overlap. One of them is Ronan Golding. It squelches out of his grasp. Dermot Keaveney, the referee, has given the free to Sligo for a foul by John Casey.
Actually, at the moment, Marty, none of the Mayo forwards, apart from Kieran McDonald and possibly David Nestor, seem capable of getting away from their actual markers. And another worrying factor is that James Horn, on a few occasions he's got the ball, is trying shots from ridiculously long distance, when in fact he should be possibly trying to work it into the area that's dangerous, and the area that carries a threat, which is with Kieran McDonald.
Dermot Keaveney did very well. So too did Paul Durkin. This is the captain, Brendan Kilcoyne. Into the space. Well, he knew what he was doing. Jerry McGowan. With him is Kenneth Mortimer. He has the confidence, indeed, this young man. Nice play by Sligo. Floating it in. Peter Burke calls for it. It's a loose ball. It's dropping and it's kicked off the line. My word. Dermot Flanagan. Did he touch it? The umpire seems to have signalled a wide. But that was close.
Very close, Marty, and to be fair, I thought Sligo should have got a 45 out of that. It's a great bit of defensive work by Dermot Flanagan to get back on that ball. Here it comes in high. As it comes in, Peter Burke comes out, Eamon O'Hara gets in, and Dermot Flanagan gets back and manages to shepherd the ball out.
And down at the other end, David Nestor, and again Pat Kilcoyne saves magnificently. Well, Mayo now have a 45, when really it should have been a Sligo 45 at the other end.
Well, that's what I thought, Marty, and again...
And I'd agree.
And again, great credit is due to Pat Kilcoyne there. Tremendous save again from David Nestor. Smothered him very, very well as he came through.
Good effort
high
here,
ball
Martin.
come up again. The wind carries it on that little bit, and David Nestor gets his flick to the ball, but Pat Kilcoyne has read the situation very well and smothers him. Very good goalkeeping.
And the referee has blown his whistle because there are infringements by various mentors. Some players looking for a drink, and the referee doesn't want anybody to come on the pitch. Once again, it's Maurice Sheridan from Ball in County Mayo. It's dropping straight over the bar. A very good score by Maurice Sheridan, which gives his team a 3-point advantage.
That's a good score for Morris, actually, Marty, because he had missed the last 2 place kicks from the ground, and that one from a 45 should give his confidence a bit of a boost, because again, a place kicker thrives on that on confidence.
Fouling by Sligo. Ken Killeen. Free quickly taken by Liam McHale. Kieran MacDonald given a lot of space again by Neil Carew. Over towards David Nestor. Coming through the middle is Liam McHale. Outside is Maurice Sheridan, and that is going over the bar. They're coming with a late surge before half-time.
Absolutely, but again it's the duo of Kieran MacDonald and David Nestor that are creating the trouble up front for Mayo, and Sligo, I'm surprised, have not done a little switch in the two of them. Again, Liam McHale goes through, tries to bullock his way through, gives a good ball back to Morris on his right foot and over the bar. Good score.
And let's go back down to the sideline and Jim Carney.
Thank you again, Marty. Well, Sligo rather held off on that proposed switch a few moments ago. Desi Sloan made a contribution, but now they are so concerned about the threat of David Nestor that Bernard Mulhern has been withdrawn and David Durkin's in. But it is interesting that David Durkin has played a lot of county football, and most of it at right half-back.
So the switch that we were anticipating and expecting has come in the Sligo defence, but perhaps maybe not quite at half-back. John Casey getting away from Colin White. He's going straight through, going for the shot at goal, and he just can't reach the deflection.
Again, an excellent block actually from David Durkin, who has just come in. And again, John Casey gets inside the fence, drives straight through, going beeline for goals, but David Durkin actually comes in from the side and gets a block on it. And in fact, I think the ball ricocheted ultimately off John Casey. But again, just a word on David Durkin. He's very familiar with David Nestor's play. He has marked him a number of occasions with under 21, and he will have the legs more than Bernard Mulhern had to stay with him.
So the resulting 45 going to be taken again by Maurice Sheridan. So far, after his name, he has 3 points. That again is floating in the breeze, but not curling enough. With wind advantage, Mayo now have a total of 6 wides in this first half, but by no means as dominant as we anticipated. And remember, in case you've just joined us, Mayo are playing with the breeze, and it's quite a strong breeze in the first half. Paul Durkin. Paul Taylor. He scored from here before. Terry McGowan. Plenty of Mayo backs. Paul Durkin is there again, trying to put the head down and just keep going. It's scrappy, unattractive, and Mayo are there. Fergal Costello. That's going to be a line ball for Sligo.
That's very untidy play, actually, Marty, at the moment from both teams.
But is that the breeze, Martin? Because it's very difficult to open up the play, because Sligo really should be taking the options.
Actually, it is. The breeze is much greater, actually, than possibly people realise. It has got up, actually, quite considerably since the beginning of the minor match.
This is Paul Taylor. Sideline ball dropping in. Liam McHale is there. And he's happy to just get it out quick. Dermot Flanagan. And Dermot Keaveney fouled. The referee has, in fact, blown the half-time whistle. And having played against the breeze in the first half, Sligo are doing very well. They may be trailing, but remember, they do have quite a strong breeze to their backs. They're trailing by 4 points as they go in at half-time in the new revamped Dr. Hyde Park. That's the scoreline. The most interesting first half. Mayo 7 points, Sligo 3. Down on the sideline, Jim Carney.
Will you cue me, Michael? Will you cue me? Now we're joined here by the Sligo County Board Chairman Joe Quinn and selector as well. Joe, you're very close to the action. What have you made of it in the first half?
Well, our lads started a little tense, but we have clawed our way back into it, and we're in there with every chance. We'll win our back in our second half. Our fellas will die to the end, and I believe at the end of this 35 minutes, we'll be champions.
How big a factor is the win, do you think, Joe?
I think it's a big factor. I think Mayo are overrated by the media, and we have came here to win this game, and I think we're going to win it.
At the same time, Joe, David Nestor did you a lot of damage in the first half. Are you happy that you've taken remedial action?
I think we have. I think David Durkin will do the job there now.
Thank you, Joe. Best luck.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Jim, and it certainly will be an interesting second half. Do stay with us. Meanwhile, it's back to you, Michael.
Thanks, Marty. Yes, there's certainly no lack of confidence anyway from the sideline talk there of the Sligo selectors and the chairman. But it is nonetheless Mayo who lead this game. They've already got one in the bag already at Dr. Hyde Park this afternoon. They won the minor match earlier on a scoreline of 13 points against Roscommon's 9. We'll talk about that first half after this break. Just 4 points in it then at Dr. Hyde Park at half-time. And Tony Davis, it hasn't been the rout or anything like that we thought it might be.
No, they're still there. I think they'll go in at half-time, and as you can see from the clip there, they're really pumped up. They have a wind in the second half, and they still have a bit of hope. Their half-forward line is doing very well, picking up the breaks, even though I feel that Liam McHale is dominating midfield. Their full back line was in trouble for a while, with Kieran MacDonald playing very well. Any ball he got, he made very good use of it. But I think they're after remedying that. David Nestor is doing very well, and they'll have to do something there as well. But I think overall, they're still in with a bit of hope, even though if you were to look at the broader picture, you still feel that Mayo are going to come out of this.
You would, Pat, feel that at any minute that Mayo ought to ignite in this match. But I mean, after 35 minutes, they haven't done that. And Sligo have kind of kept this game sort of at a low key, if you like.
They have. Mayo looked the most threatening and the more purposeful team all through. They created 3 goal scoring chances. 2 of them they should have taken. They've had 6 wides, and equally they've missed a lot of good opportunities that drop short. You know, Kieran MacDonald rushing a few shots, James Horton kicking from impossible angles. So Mayo were disappointing, considering, like I said, they had the majority possession. They're dominating midfield, and they're creating the more space, and they look the more threatening in attack. Sligo, fair play to them. Maybe we have overestimated Mayo, and maybe we have underestimated Sligo. They are in with a shout.
The reality, Tony, at the same time is that Mayo got through, as Pat said a moment ago, for a few chances of goals that they might have put away. But all credit to the Sligo and Connacht goalkeeper, who did very well here.
Yeah, Pat Kilcoyne is a very, very good goalkeeper. And he's been a Connacht goalkeeper consistently for the last 4 years, and he's always done very, very well. And you can see some of the saves that were made here. Here, John Casey is right in on top of him, and that was a great save. But really, John Casey should have buried it, and he should have stuck it in the back of it. Maybe it's a reflection on John Casey's lack of confidence and his finishing ability.
What Casey goes for here is power, and straight at the goalie. If you learn from a lesson from today, Ollie Murphy showed you what to do in a one-to-one situation. Pick a spot in the corner. He didn't. He just went for power, and it was never on at all.
Good stuff. All right. Well, from a Sligo point of view, it's all right saying that they're in the game, Tony, with a chance in the second half. There's only 4 points in it. But What are they going to do to change this around now and to sort of, you know, take the advantage?
Well, I think the wind will help them. They have a very good forward, as we saw there in Paul Taylor. And I think Pat Holmes gave him too much. He didn't think he was as good as he was. You could see at one stage he was running down the wing with the ball, and Pat just stood off him a little bit, and he swung it straight over the bar. The wind now will carry the ball into him, and they'll be a little more direct. They won't have to be passing it short around midfield, and that will help them. They are winning the breaks around midfield in their half-forward line. They'll have to tighten up a lot more in the back line. And they can't give away silly frees either, because as we saw, any free that was given away, Maurice Sheridan punished them. Have to be tight and not give away frees.
You picked out Paul Taylor before the match as one of the players to watch. Now, he did score 1 point in this game, but he hasn't been in it through no fault of his own.
No, he just hasn't got to supply a ball. If he had got to supply a ball, I think he'd worry Pat Holmes all right. But he just didn't get to supply a ball. As you can see here, he gets a good ball down long the wing. I think Pat stands off him too much here. He should have got in closer. It was as if he was saying, JC's never going to kick it over the bar from here. I'll let him have a coach, you know. And with his left leg, that's a great score. That would grace any game. And he's a very talented footballer. But he's given too much latitude there.
In fairness to Pat, he's on the sideline. You wouldn't. It's a superb.
Great
score. The best score of the day. Left-footed point from the sideline, 45 yards out. There aren't many players in the game capable of doing that.
You've been inclined to let him shoot, actually.
All right. Well, obviously they'll be expecting a lot more from Paul Taylor in Sligo in the second half. Can he get the scores? Can Sligo turn this match around? They believe they can. We'll find out after the break. So then in the Connacht football final, it's Mayo, the champions, who lead Sligo on a scoreline of 7 points to 3 at half-time. The teams back out onto the field again down at Dr. Hyde Park. Let's go back to our commentary team of Martin Carney and Marty Morrissey.
Thank you very much, Michael. Welcome back to Dr. Hyde Park. No changes on either team as we look around, and the very points that Tony and Pat were making, I think we were saying here in the privacy of the commentary box. We expect a slight change in style from Sligo, a more direct ploy in towards Paul Taylor. And it's going to be an interesting 35 minutes. Can Sligo produce the shock, not of the year, but of the 90s? Can they win their third Connacht title? Mayo were expected to waltz this. They haven't even asked Sligo to dance as of yet. The scoreline 7 points to 3 as we begin the next 35 minutes. First free of the match to Maurice Sheridan on the Sligo 45. Close marking, the order of the day now. I'm sure Mickey Moran was happy to get his charges inside to the dressing room and tell them to tighten up, as I'm sure John Mahon was, Martin Carney.
Oh, absolutely. John Mahon, I'd say, would have absolutely chewed them at half-time to try and get a little bit more drive into the forward line and to translate their territorial possession into scores.
Here's Sheridan spray, hits it round, hits it straight over the bar. That's a very good start for the champions, and they now have 8 points on the scoreboard.
That's a confident restart indeed by Maurice Sheridan. It's in contrast to the way he started with his place kicking in the first half.
This very young Sligo team will now surely reveal their true character. James Horn fading in and out during the first half, trying to get involved. Kieran MacDonald, Neil Carew, given a lot of space by Carew, and MacDonald doesn't punish the young cornerback.
Again, there was a lack of off-the-ball movement there from him, you know, both from Ronan Golding and John Casey, and he possibly just had to go for his score, even though it was from a good distance out into a strong wind.
I must say, we saw the last day in Castlebar when John Mahon was inside the wire as such. There was a slickness about the passing. It's absent today.
Well, it's absent today, but Sligo, to be fair to them, are certainly choking the Mayo style and are playing quite effectively themselves.
And you can see from that kick how strong the breeze is. It fooled virtually everybody. Dermot Flanagan. Noel Kennelly. Fullback is Colin White. Paul Taylor with Pat Holmes. And Pat Holmes was fouling the number 14, so it's a free for Sligo. This man scored 9 points in the semi-final against Roscommon. He was also top scorer in Division 4.
Again, Marty, just as Mayo have Maurice Sheridan, Sligo have Paul Taylor when it comes to place kicking accuracy, and he's exceptionally good in this department.
This is just inside the Mayo 45. That is kind of a target, but he's 1 point from play, 1 point from a place ball. His name, Paul Taylor. This is Ken Killeen, number 10 that you just saw, as Peter Burke places the ball for his first kick out of the second half. Mickey Moran thinking about introducing a substitute again. Liam McHale breaks it down for Maurice Sheridan. Along the sideline, Jim Carney.
Well, we understand from here that Sean Davey will come in a moment or so, but Mickey Moran is waiting for a break in the play. But Sean Davey, who nearly came in the first half, is now due to see action here in the Connacht final.
Thank you very much, Jim. That switch, that alteration to the team that we were expecting in the first half will now become a reality once a slip of paper has been properly coordinated. Another free for Mayo. Maurice Sheridan again. Referee McCurley maintaining a vigilant patrol at all action off the ball at the moment. This is quite a difficult kick. He hits it well. Nobody connects. Chasing after it is John Casey. Kieran MacDonald provides the support outside. This is MacDonald, given a lot of space yet again. This time sends it wide. I'm amazed, Martin, that they're not doing something about Kieran MacDonald, because the potential is there to push Sligo out of this Connacht final.
Absolutely, and it's just, you know, they have been inaccurate in a number of occasions when you could say there hasn't been an awful lot of pressure on the kicker, and certainly that's another score that has gone a begging from a Mayo point of view. It's interesting at the moment, actually, they're bringing in a sub there, Sean Davey, and he's coming in instead of Desi Sloyne, I think, and it'll be an interesting role. I think he'll probably take Dermot Flanagan for a trip around the field.
Brendan Kilcoyne fouled, free for Sligo. There's confirmation. Sean Davey is on, and Desi Sloyne is up. This is testing ball, and the goalkeeper amazingly comes out. Well, I don't know what Peter Burke was doing off his line there.
He came an awful long way for that one, Marty, and you'd wonder was it sensible to do that, and I think he half crippled James Nallen in the process.
There was no danger whatsoever.
No, there was. You had two defenders under the dropping ball, in fact, and he came, so he possibly felt, you know, once he came he's going to have to keep coming, but certainly I think it was a little bit of misjudgment on his part.
James Nallen, as you can see, is still winded as a result of Peter Burke's arrival, and I think Pat Holmes just signalling to Peter to call rather than come from nowhere.
Yeah, again, the high ball is coming, and at all the time Peter Burke is on the way out, and he hits into the back, and in fact doesn't win the ball. And Mayo were lucky in that respect, actually, that a Sligo forward didn't make more use of that.
And at the other end, there's another free for Mayo. And again, I'm sure it's a kick for Maurice Sheridan.
Yes, indeed, it's well within his range, actually, Marty. But the game is actually falling off a little bit in terms of tempo. And, you know, it requires some player to come out now and take it by the scruff of the neck and inject a little bit of life into it again.
Eamon O'Hara has been rather quiet in this Connacht final so far. Been very well marked. As Maurice Sheridan gets into his customary pose to take this free. Again, it's tailing to the right and wide. As Mayo's tally of wides now increases to 9. And you never really feel that Sligo are out of this Connacht final?
No, it's simply because Mayo are not putting them out of it, Marty. They don't seem to be good enough on the day to do it. And in fact, Sligo, if they got a couple of scores to give their confidence a boost, I'll tell you, it'll make a very, very interesting last 25 minutes or so.
Here comes Sligo now. Brian Walsh. Dermot Keaveney did well to hold possession despite the attentions of Noel Kennelly. And gets the benefit of the doubt. He'll take it. And again, it's on the Mayo 45. The Sligo Footballer of the Year in 1996, about to take his second shot at a point from this distance. Didn't allow sufficient angle or width. And there was no way was the breeze going to curl it that much.
No, he'd be a bit disappointed with that one, Marty, actually, because it was within his compass, given the fact that he had the wind in his back. And again, normally he is unerring in his accuracy, actually, from that distance. But both sides at the moment actually are missing place kicks and missing scores that would actually either put one team out of sight or give the other team a chance to get back into the game.
Breaking ball, picked up by O'Hara. First time he gets away, he's looking for the support. It's there, but it's not a good pass. And unfortunately, Sean Davey, with his first touch, messes it up.
Again, you probably have understandable nerves there. Sean is only 19, as you said, Marty, earlier in the commentary, just after doing his leaving cert. And he messed up that move with him and O'Hara, which is unfortunate from a Sligo point of view.
Pat Fallon receiving an easy ball. James Nalla now fully recovered. Jerry McGowan tackling hard. James Horn into the space for David Nestor. Trying to get away. John Casey. Plenty of Sligo players there now. This is Noel Kennelly, back to John Casey again. And he showed a little bit too much of it. Here comes David Durkin. Neil Carew. From Strandhill. Over towards Paul Taylor. Suddenly Sligo come alive at Hyde Park. This is the substitute, Sean Davey. He's just 18, remember, taking on Dermot Flanagan. Kenneth Mortimer, and he takes too many steps. And that's a free for Mayo.
Interesting at the moment, Marty, I see Kevin O'Neill warming up on the sideline.
Ronan Golding down to Kieran MacDonald. And off the ball, Ronan Golding and Brendan Kilcoyne exchanging greetings.
Right beside the linesman. Surprising the linesman didn't do something about that, Marty.
John Casey came in very high on Dermot Keaveney. And the referee is booking John Casey from a distance, it must be said. Doesn't even have to ask him for his name.
Yes, he comes in, and I think he gets Dermot Keaveney on the side of the head with an elbow.
And Dermot Keaveney went down very quickly.
Here it is again. The ball comes across to Dermot Keaveney, he wins it, and John Casey gets him all right across the side of the head. I don't think it's too serious, but at the same time, it's a reckless kind of a foul.
And along the sideline, our reporter, Jim Carney.
Yes, Mayo are about to make a change, and it will be a change that will bring a huge roar, because after a long absence, sometimes a controversial absence, Kevin O'Neill of Knockmore is coming into the game. The man being withdrawn is Ronan Golding.
Thank you very much, Jim. So Kevin O'Neill from Knockmore is coming on, and the man that's coming off is Ronan Golding from Bow.
And certainly Kevin O'Neill will have fond memories of this ground, I think, in 1993, when he had an excellent Connacht final, in fact, against Roscommon here. And it's no surprise Ronan Golding hasn't really been in the game to the extent that Mayo supporters would have hoped. And Kevin O'Neill will probably play inside and hope to be...
It's a terrible, snappy ball, and the Mayo man, John Casey, seemed to put it out, and yes, it is a Sligo ball. But there is still an uneasiness, even when Sligo are clearing the ball. You just feel uneasy even watching them.
Yeah, but you're uneasy in one respect, but also I'd say Mayo feel incredibly uneasy because of the ineptness of their forward line. They're simply just not getting into the game.
Nice run here by David Durkin. Damon O'Hara. First real time we've seen him sparkle. He's still going through. He's looking to try and get it out. Pat Holmes is waiting for it, so too is Dermot Flanagan. James Horan, a long ball up towards David Nestor. David Durkin was arriving to tackle him. Mayo have got Sligo exposed here. McDonald still with Neil Carew. And the referee didn't think that was a foul.
No, I think Marty, he has actually blown for the free, because certainly Neil Carew manhandled Kieran McDonald as he went through there on a couple of occasions, and in fact I think he's going booking him, because there was a tremendous ball actually from David Nestor to Kieran McDonald, and if Kieran actually had been able to unload a pass earlier, Kevin O'Neill was straight through.
No doubt whatsoever.
No doubt about it. Kieran McDonald is fouled here. He gets up, he goes again, and again he's dragged a little bit, but again he's pulled in the jersey and taken down from behind there, so Neil Carew can't have any complaints about that. Certainly is a free in.
So we get another free for Mayo, and yet again it's Morris Sheridan. Fallon has just been moved in as the Mayo substitutes, with Ronan Golding just there on the right of the screen. I'm sure he'll be disappointed that he's been taken off. And referee Michael Curley is now becoming impatient with all this waiting by Morris Sheridan. He drops it straight over the bar. He will claim it was worth the wait, and all of Mayo will agree. 5 points Morris Sheridan has scored in this Connacht final.
Well, certainly on a day like this, Marty, when the rest of the forward line are struggling somewhat, it's certainly lucky for Mayo that Morris Sheridan is putting away the majority of his free kicks.
And Sligo now need to get that ball as quickly as possible up to their forward lines, because now is the crucial period. They have to respond. Here's Brian Walsh. Nice move by Sligo. Again, 3 Mayo players around Paul Taylor, now 4. Increase that to 5. Dermot Keaveney waiting for it. Liam McHale, and the sheer height breaks the intended pass, and David Nestor nips in. Neil Carew is fouled, and that's a free for Sligo. And referee Michael Curley won't allow Ken Killeen to take that so quickly. And there was a good few distance from where the foul was committed anyway.
Actually, an interesting thing there, Marty, that all the Mayo forward line are playing outside 60 or 70 metres from the Sligo goal, and I think more of them should be pushing forward at the moment. They're dragging too many players back into the middle of the field, and there's nobody up front to really hit with a ball at the moment.
And down on the sideline again is Jim Carney.
Thank you again, Marty. Just quickly, let me tell viewers that Eamon Cawley of St. Fernand's is coming into the Sligo team for Dermot Keaveney, who has a hand injury. But ominously for Sligo, all 3 subs have now been used.
Thank you very much, Jim Carney, and a good point indeed. All their substitutes now used. Here's a chance for Sean Davey. Davey hits it wide. Well, the loss of Dermot Keaveney, Martin, is huge, because he's been hard grafter rather than spectacular at midfield.
Yeah, he's battled away. He's given a very, very honest 50 minutes out there. But again, there probably needs a little bit more constructive work out there, and they'd hope to get that out of Eamon Cawley for the last 20 minutes or so.
There's confirmation. Eamon O'Hara. Needs support now. Here's Brian Walsh. He's going to have a go, and that is going straight over the bar. His first point of the Connacht final. He's the man who was brought in for the injured Philip Neary, and the Tubber Curry star puts his name on the scoreboard. 4 points between them.
Yeah, it's a beautiful strike actually. Here he gets the ball, gets onto his left foot and glides it beautifully over the bar from about 40 metres out.
You don't have too many dual stars in Sligo, but Brian Walsh also plays with the Sligo hurlers.
He plays with the hurlers, he plays with the Army footballers and hurlers too, as far as I know, Marty.
It's Mayo's turn now to have possession. Kevin O'Neill. Neil Carew. David Durkin. Sligo by no means whitewashed, by no means beaten indeed. As the point scorer Brian Walsh down towards Paul Taylor, the overlap. Nice play, but well intercepted here by James Nalla. And Mortimer. There's a terrible pass from Dermot Flanagan, and the free has been given, judging by Michael Curley, is given against Mayo.
No, I think actually Marty Ken Killeen caught Kenneth Mortimer in the face there, and I think it is a free out for Mayo. Here it comes, Kenneth Mortimer jinks inside, and he is actually caught in the face by Ken Killeen. So it is a free out okay. But actually one thing, Marty, at the moment, none of the Mayo forwards, actually, apart from possibly David Nestor, are managing to get on the ball. And it's a big worry for John Mohan and the selectors.
Sligo have it once more. Tackled as he kicked the ball, and from where it landed, it should be a free for Sligo.
Absolutely a free, no doubt about it. It's a late tackle by John Casey, coming in and giving a shoulder after the ball had been kicked.
John Casey's timing, sometimes he fouls unnecessarily, and this is a good example
Just
of
an example, he gets the kick away and he comes across him then just after the kick has been launched. Okay, the timing is just slightly out.
Here's Paul Taylor. Loading it in, they have it. Here's a chance, the shot's blocked, and Peter Burke is there. So too, Liam McHale. James Horn under a lot of pressure. Noel Kennelly. That has to be a free out. Sligo just a little bit ragged now.
But equally so are Mayo, actually, Marty. Mayo are not being able to play with any great fluency in the second half. They're not getting on the ball, and they're just like finding it very, very hard to get a reasonable tally up on the scoreboard.
Well, we've just about 15 minutes left in this Connacht final. And while Sligo are trailing by 4 points, they're by no means out of it. Kicked ahead by James Horn. Colin White. Good play by Nigel Clancy. Ken Killeen. He needs support. It's there. Paul Durkin. Neil Carew. Eamon O'Hara. Working himself out of trouble, Brendan Kilcoyne. Brendan floats it high and floated very wide. And that's a poor pass, because while he was under pressure, he wasn't under sufficient pressure to get rid of it that quickly.
He didn't have to get rid of it that quickly. In fact, he could have tried to play it across the field to one of his inside forwards. But again, it's another miss for Sligo. And in fact, if they're getting those couple of scores in the attacks that they're having, it certainly could be right up neck and neck with Mayo at the moment.
Paul Durkin did very well. And that is a terrible waste of possession. Fergal Costello, Pat Fallon, Kieran MacDonald, again given acres of space, and what a sweet ball. Knocked away, and that's going to be an easy free indeed for Mayo. Noel Kennelly was the man that was fouled.
Yes, Noel was fouled there, and again it represents a chance for Maurice Sheridan to put another point on the board. And as we said earlier in the commentary, if it weren't for Maurice Sheridan's place kicking today, Mayo would be in grave trouble, Marty.
They're not actually able to open up the Sligo defence.
I honestly believe, Marty, they came in here despite their management's protestations. They came in complacent, and the management worked on it, but he couldn't get the complacency out of the players, and they're finding it very, very difficult to rid themselves of that.
Well, as you said, Maurice Sheridan is doing the business. He's now scored 6 points in this Connacht final. And they now have 10 points on the scoreboard. One goal here for Sligo could turn things big time.
Absolutely, Marty, but as I said, the burden of expectancy that was in Mayo is actually strangling them.
Good long kick out by Pat Kilcoyne. Some pushing on Liam McHale, unnoticed. Here's Eamon O'Hara to Brendan Kilcoyne. O'Hara's available again. He'll have to use his fullback, Colin White. There's a nice play now by Sligo if they can open it up. David Durkin looking on as Eamon Cawley loses possession rather easily. Kenneth Mortimer, James Horan. Oh, great support here. And again, it's the Mayo defence and midfield that's doing it, and James Nallen got hit and hit hard.
Yes, I think the pass was actually overhit and he just ran into a shoulder there, but it's nothing other than a bit of winding.
Brendan Kilcoyne. Sligo need a lot more running off the ball. Noel Kennelly did very well. Pat Fallon to Liam McHale, who is fouled by Brendan Kilcoyne. And Sligo people not liking the decision. And James Horan has just told referee Michael Curley that James Nallen is still suffering a little bit. And thus the break in play. He's okay.
He's recovered sufficiently, Marty, yeah.
So Liam McHale can take the free. Goes all the way back towards Nigel Clancy. Just can't hold on to it. Here comes David Nestor. He's going to shoot first time. He puts it over the bar. He's well worth at least 1 point in this match because it's his first score of the game. But my gosh, he's worked very hard all through.
He's a great little bit of stuff. The smallest player on the Mayo team, but he's a heart twice the size of any one of them. He's a tremendous worker. And again, gets onto that broken ball, gets around, keeps the ball on this carpet and manages to get it over the bar.
Well won indeed by Sean Davey. And again, the pass is not a good one. Means his colleague has to work harder. Eamon O'Hara. Paul Taylor knocked away by Pat Holmes. Taylor struggling to hold possession. Brendan Kilcoyne. The ball more in hope than anything else, but they have it. Here's a chance. Oh, saved on the line, and Dermot Flanagan. It's the chance that Sligo had to take if they had any hope whatsoever of producing a shock in the Connacht final, and they still have it. Oh, that's no effort to play the ball by Pat Fallon. And referee Michael Curley, I think, is going to book the ball man for that challenge.
Again, interesting, Marty, that chance there. No Mayo defender challenged for that ball. The two Sligo players got up, and it was a tremendous save actually initially by Peter Burke, and Dermot Flanagan, wise old experienced head, came in and swept up and cleared the ball to safety.
Paul Taylor drops it in. Liam McHale is underneath it. And he's fouled. And that would have given, if Peter Burke hadn't made that great save, new life to this Connacht final. Pat Fallon stepping away from the challenge of Colin White. Over this side, Maurice Sheridan. Two players running inside at full speed. He goes the other direction. James Horan. Out towards Pat Fallon. Kieran MacDonald, Neil Carew. The ball is very, very slippy. First MacDonald lost it. Nice skill here by MacDonald. Nice pickup. Coming in the middle is Noel Kennelly. He can't hold it. Here's a chance. And oh dear, inches, centimetres away from the goal that would wrap up this Connacht final.
Yeah, again, Kieran McDonald gets the ball, slips it out to Noel Kennelly, who takes it, loses possession, over to David, the inevitable David Nestor, and fair play to Pat Kilcoyne. He came out, made the angle difficult, and he put it wide. David Nestor put it wide.
Good play here by David Durkin. Brendan Kilcoyne. There's nobody available to his left. He has to go into a bit of a cul-de-sac. Now he clears it. And Sligo have the chance to counter-attack. Eamon Cawley. Paul Taylor. Eamon O'Hara has gone inside. Now Liam McHale has gone back to mark him. This is O'Hara trying to cut through the middle. He's fouled, and that's another free for Sligo.
Good play there, Marty, by Eamon O'Hara. He just rose straight out the defence, made very, very good support there for Paul Taylor, and again earned the free.
Young, hopeful Sligo stars of the future. One of their heroes down in the Yates County is Paul Taylor, and he has missed it.
Yeah, again,
the easiest chance of the game.
Easiest place kick of the game, and again it's a big disappointment for him, because again Sligo needed that point to bring them back in, but only at the moment, Marty, about 7 minutes left. They certainly could have done with that score. And I think actually worrying thing for Mayo at the moment, James Nallen is on the sideline requiring treatment.
And if James Nallen has to go off, it will be a major blow. But at this stage, I'm sure that Mayo must be confident that they have this Connacht title. Here they go again. Fergal Costello giving it to John Casey. Colin White with him. And that's another free. A bit fortunate, that one, I must say.
Well, a little bit similar to the way Eamon O'Hara went in at the other end. John Casey just drove out of the defence there. And again, it's getting slippy at the moment out there, Marty. The drizzle is starting to make the top surface that little bit slippy. And he invited the tackle and earned his free.
James Nallen's knee seems to be all right. Quick piece of attention seems to have done the trick. Maurice Sheridan has this chance for his 7th point of the match, and Mayo's 12th. And he, like Paul Taylor, has been affected by the breeze, perhaps. Affected by something, anyway.
Well, certainly is a point that he normally would score, but again, it's symptomatic of the way Mayo are playing in the second half. Not a lot of confidence, missing a lot of chances, and not being able to put Sligo away.
Oh, an easy call for Liam McHale. It's something that I'm a little bit surprised as well, that Mickey Morton didn't devise a special plan to keep the ball away from Liam McHale with the kick-outs.
Yeah, Liam has done quite well, actually. He's improved greatly on the game against Leitrim, and he'll be happy with today's performance, actually, in a personal sense.
And again, Maurice Sheridan is going to take this free. This time he's going to take it off the hands. Dead straight in front of the posts, and that's gone wide. Mayo at this stage must feel that they've won the Connacht Championship, but they must also feel very disappointed with the overall performance.
Well, it's a case of never mind the quality, Marty. Feel the width. Absolutely, because they have been less than impressive, actually. But again, there's another 4.5 minutes to go.
Paul Taylor. And that's going to be a Sligo ball. John Maughan. He'll be glad to see this one over so he can rejoin the team inside the wire. Here's a chance, perhaps. Nice skill by Ken Killeen, trying to make an angle. And then knocked away once more. Pat Fallon. Good work by Eamon O'Hara. Taking a shot, and that is sailing between the crossbar, or sailing between the posts and over the crossbar.
Good score by Eamon O'Hara. And again, I see him urging on his team, Marty. That good player.
Okay, let's go straight down to the sideline. Jim Carney.
Yes, Mayo are still anxious, and they're bringing in Dermot Byrne of Castlebar Mitchells for James Hearn, and Martin Carney of Castlebar will know all about Dermot Byrne, his clubmate.
Thank you very much, Jim Carney. Dermot Byrne is in, and maybe perhaps now they can finish this Connacht Championship final with a flourish. Maurice Sheridan again. Pat Fallon. There's confirmation of the substitution. Dermot Byrne on, James Horn on. Sean Davey. Paul Durkin, about to be challenged by James Nalla. Still Durkin. He wanted a little bit of support, a little bit quicker than that. Still a good ball. Ryan Walsh being blocked down. This is Jerry McGowan. And coming away with it is Fergal Costello. Morris Sheridan and Liam McHale. Brendan Kilcoyne fouling. Once again, Mayo will slow matters down. What was Morris Sheridan aiming at there?
He certainly had the wrong chip in, Marty.
Sean Davey again, trying to knock it outside. Now he's finally managed to do that. And Sligo now go forwards. This is a good run. Eamon Cawley. Again, it's blocked. Good defending by Mayo. Comes back to Brendan Kilcoyne. This is centre half back Nigel Clancy trying to burst his way through. He goes down. The referee has not blown his whistle. Here's a chance, and the ball is in the back of the net. Sligo have finally found gold.
It's nothing more than they have deserved, Marty, because they have kept coming at Mayo all the second half. Mayo, on the other hand, haven't been able to put them out of reach. Here again comes in Eamon Cawley first of all got the ball, then I think Brendan Kilcoyne comes on. The centre half back Nigel Clancy comes up, tackled by Fergal Costello, tackled by Dermot Flanagan, gets the ball out, and there's a great left-footed shot by Brian Walsh into the corner of the net.
Good play really here, and a good finish by Brian Walsh. And Sligo have it again. People who have been leaving Hyde Park are now putting on the brakes very quickly. There's just 2 points between the champions and the challengers. And there's just about 2 minutes left. Maybe a little bit more with injury time, who knows? Long ball. Kieran MacDonald and Neil Carew. Carew wins the exchanges. To David Durkin. And Sligo come forward. Can they do a Clare against Cork job with a last-minute winner? Eamon O'Hara. Hyde Park is alive. Now the people are standing on their feet for the first time. To Paul Durkin. Going for the point. He floats it in, and it's gone over. That is pure magic from the county of Sligo. It's not Dublin. It's not Meath. It's not, indeed, Mayo that's playing like champions. It's Sligo. But the referee has blown his whistle, and it is all over. Mayo have won by the slimmest of margins.
Yeah, that was a great last score by Paul Taylor from the middle of the field, and it's very, very hard luck of Sligo. They have worked throughout the game. They have made Mayo look bad. They certainly played with great determination, great spirit. It's a credit to them, credit to the mentors, and certainly they did Division 4, they did their county proud, and it will hopefully give a great boost to football in the county, because certainly in the last number of years, the work that's been done at underage there on a structured basis would be the envy of any other county in the country.
Indeed, I was at the School of Excellence during the week. Colm O'Rourke has been there. Indeed, John Maughan has contributed many, many times, and indeed yourself. And I feel that Sligo, with all their hard work at underage, it's only a matter of time. And today, most Sligo people I spoke to, they just wanted to give. Some people thought they'd win, but they were happy if they just got within a couple of points of Mayo. They've done it.
Isn't it extraordinary, Marty, the place kick by Paul Taylor that he missed about 6 or 7 minutes from time.
Indeed.
The easiest place kick of the day. Had that gone over, then a shock of seismic proportions
Indeed.
could have happened, actually. You know, it's a tremendous display by Sligo, and again, Mayo will be very happy. I suppose winners take everything. They will be happy to have won, but certainly they have an awful lot of work to do before they meet the eventual Leinster winners.
I think reality has dawned, I think, in the county of Mayo after this. I know that they're happy, but it's not quite really the ecstasy that you would expect after winning a Connacht championship. Mayo have done it, and that's the scoreline. Well done to Sligo. Congratulations to Mayo. That's the full-time score. Mayo 11 points, Sligo 1-7. And officials and supporters all around our camera position. It is very difficult. I'm sure they'll get matters sorted out as Noel Kennelly, for the second time in receives the Nestor Trophy. The Connacht Championship title goes back to Mayo.
Yes, indeed, Marty. And Noel Kennelly contributed greatly himself. And in fact, I thought the Mayo defence played very well throughout. But the forward line, again, which had been their Achilles heel last year, let them down badly today. And were it not for the place kicks of Boris Sheridan, like at the end of the day, Marty, of the 11 points, he ended up scoring 6 of them. Were it not for his accuracy, then the shot, as you said, of the decade would have been there.
Very colourful scene here at Hyde Park. Sligo, I just feel, Martin, will be back. This is no flash in the pan.
Absolutely, they'll be back, Marty. And again, as I said, it is no flash in the pan. It is a result. A number of years ago, the former chairman called Tommy Carroll put a wonderful underage structure in place. They have worked assiduously over the last number of years. I know as manager of minor and under 21 teams, we never got Sligo easy. And that today is a tremendous foothold for them and a tremendous platform to build on, and hopefully they'll stay together for the rest of the summer and work to get out of Division 4, because they have to get up a division or get up 2 divisions before they really gain that confidence and get play against teams that are going to test them week in, week out. But it's a great credit to them today, and Mayo can learn an awful lot from today. Certainly they'll find that they have a lot of work to do. The players will get their minds concentrated now on a job in hand to play the Leinster champions. And certainly they got a game today. They got a contest today that they needed. Certainly they wouldn't have expected it. They wouldn't have expected it to be as close. But it was a fine conclusion to the game, and a credit to Sligo the way they kept at it.
Indeed, I think that John Maughan will be glad, in one sense, to have just survived, because this could be the making of the Mayo team.
Absolutely. I think it'll, again, Marty, on the 25th of May when they played Galway, I thought they were superb that day. Now, they played adequately, I thought, against Leitrim. But today, the performance level has dropped somewhat.
We'll just have to see how they improve. Meanwhile, it's Phelan Murphy, who is going, along with John Prenti there beside him, going to present the cup to the winning captain.
John Basie and Danny Murphy, the chairman and secretary of the Ulster Council, and Noel Welch, the chairman of the Munster Council. As well as that, I want to welcome Brian McAnee from GAC. And most of all, I want to welcome the Bank of Ireland here, led by John McNamara, who are our main sponsors for the Senior Football Championship. And we appreciate their sponsorship very much. So we give a round of applause now for the Bank of Ireland for their sponsorship.
In many ways, Martin Carney, this match will bring a dose of reality to Mayo people and Mayo fans, that this All-Ireland title that they've been talking about, that there's a lot more to be done.
It's a long way away on the basis of the way we saw the team play today, and certainly there has been that kind of burden of expectancy in Mayo. There has been a destructive dynamic, if you want to put it that way, afoot in the county, Marty, where there was a case simply of just kind of getting into an All-Ireland final this year. It was a formality in the eyes of many people, but that there today will bring home to Mayo folk that there's a lot of work to be done. There's still a good team there, but certainly their heads will have to kind of get sorted out, and kind of, you know, I believe that they have got the dose of reality, as you say, Mark, today, that will actually stand to them when they meet the Leinster finals in a couple of weeks' time. And any tag of favouritism or over-expectation that may have been there has been well and truly buried today.
And I will urge all the other counties, the Connacht, the other 4 counties, to come out now and support Mayo in the senior and minor for their All-Ireland Fest. Let every county support Mayo now. And after that, it gives me great pleasure to present the cup to Lord Kennelly, the Mayo captain.
So the cup goes to Mayo. Phelan Murphy presents the trophy and the Connacht Championship title for 1997 to the Mayo captain Noel Kennelly. They've done it. 2 in a row for the green and red.
Yes, Barty, there's one thing actually that Mayo folk will realise today. Colin McMenamin's importance of that team in winning a broken ball around the middle of the field. If people doubted that worst, they certainly after today will realise what he's been doing.
Very good point.
It's more an anadom to more catching on for Mayo and calling Nestor Shaw Glocku on for Mayo. Ladies and gentlemen, and especially Mayo supporters, it gives me great pleasure to accept this Nestor Cup for the 2nd year in a row. on behalf of the Mayo team. If you bear with me, I have a few people to thank. First of all, I want to thank our panel of 30 players or so, who again this year have given their all since last September, out 4 nights a week training in the muck dirt in the height of winter. I want to compliment every one of the players. You're a credit to your clubs, and above all, you're a credit to your county.
So then, the Connacht title remains with Mayo, but Tony Davis and Pat Spillane by a single point in the end. It's not the finish that we had expected.
No, it's not, and they nearly made us eat our words and everybody else as well. I think congratulations must go on to Mayo on winning, but they will not be happy. But I think greater congratulations must go to Sligo. And if Paul Taylor had got that point and we had a draw, you know, it would have been just dessert for Sligo today. They played well, but Mayo seemed to sleepwalk right through that. They were in a kind of a comatose state all through, as if they were taking it for granted from the start. Like in games like that, you really have to go in. And they're a team of class. They should have finished off Sligo earlier on.
For a long time, Pat, this had the look of the Connacht final from hell, if you like. But Sligo, because they nearly stole it at the end, I mean, it could have been a huge drama.
It was the Connacht final from hell, Michael. That was as drab as dishwasher. I know now, as a teacher, as punishment next year, I'm going to force pupils to watch the entire 70 minutes of that game. That was terrible. Now, you can talk about model victories, all right, with Sligo, and fair play to them. They were very, very fit, very committed. But it wasn't on any great play from them that they kept so close. It was because of a very complacent attitude and a very, very poor performance from Mayo. Now, whether they're peaking for the semi-final, I don't know, but the same problems still exist. A forward line still dependent on Morris Sheridan to kick the bulk of the scores from frees. And remember, they went 45 minutes today without getting a point from play.
Why would they be so complacent, Tony? OK, they might have felt that they were better than Sligo and that they'd win it, but I mean, here's a team who's building themselves up to try and win the All-Ireland this year. You can't do something like this today.
I know, but no matter what any team mentors or selectors will say to you going into a game where you're playing teams like Sligo, that you expect to win, you're going to believe that you're going to beat them. They'll say, don't be complacent and all that, but you know in the back of your mind that you probably should win it. And when you come onto the field, you cannot change your attitude when the game starts. If you start the game with an attitude, even if at half-time, it's impossible to change your attitude. You cannot do that. You come into the game with an attitude, and that continues right through. And obviously they felt that they were going to beat Sligo, like everybody else. But that attitude is good. But they have to back it up, and they didn't have anything to back it up. Their forward line was abysmal today, absolutely scandalous. Like the players that were there, they were going for their places for an All-Ireland semi-final. They should have been out there trying to score and taking scores, and they didn't. Very disappointing from a Mayo point of view.
All right, gentlemen, we'll talk some more about this match and indeed the previous match that we saw today between Meath and Kildare after the commercial break. Stay with us for another little while. Retained our Connacht title with a single-point win over Sligo. We've talked a little bit, I suppose, about the negative or the down aspects, Tony Davis, of this game so far. Let's look at a positive thing. Mayo defended extremely well in this match. Yes,
only for the Mayo defence, I think certainly they would have been beaten. They defended very well and they hunted in packs. And there were a few times during the game when Sligo were coming up the field with the ball that they herded around people, put them under pressure, as Jack Charlton's phrase used to be, and blocked them down. And I think there's a sequence coming up here where we can see I think one of the Sligo players going up along the field with the ball and all the Mayo guys getting around them and blocking him down.
In these clips, what you will notice about the Mayo defence is that they never commit themselves. There's so many goal side and there's no fouling. But again, you can see Sligo, it was the fault with Sligo's foul play that they didn't really have any movement. There was no purpose to their play.
Yeah, the short passing again, and that was with the wind and with Paul Taylor inside the full forward line. Maybe it would have been a better option to kick it in. But they did defend very, very well. And they got around in groups. As you saw, Pat Fallon and Liam McHale, they're getting back. And Liam McHale had a very good game today for Mayo, I need to say.
There was loads of examples of that kind of thing. And also what I pointed out, Pat, was I suppose, Sligo's inexperience in a way of being unable to sort of be cute enough to penetrate that sort of defence.
It was. I mean, we've been critical of Sligo and we've been critical of the match. But what you have now, I don't think you'll get that many mismatches anymore because you have two superbly fit teams, very well prepared teams. And if one team is as fit as the other, they're going to stay there, you know. And as long as Mayo missed a couple of chances at the start, Sligo were always in there with a chance, even though in fairness they never really looked like winning.
But they got in with a goal chance, which they missed, which at that stage we thought was the last chance that they were going to have.
They did. In actual fact, the two goalies were stars there. Peter Buck made a very important save from, at this stage, what looked like a hopeless cause. It was a good reflex save and well cleaned up by Dermot Flanagan, who played well. Watch it again. I mean, it was a half chance. He sort of missed it. He didn't get any force. It bounced off the ground, which put the goalkeeper off slightly, but he reacted very quickly. And you also had Pat Kilcoyne, on the other hand, who was superb, who had a star game today and was instrumental in preventing Mayo from scoring 3 goals.
Tony, we had that missed chance, I suppose. Then we had Paul Taylor's startling miss from an obvious point from a free. And we said, well, it's gone now. But it wasn't. Then there was the Sligo goal. Yeah,
if he had got that, it would have been a draw. And these are ones that he would get all the time. He got 9 points against Roscommon. I think 6 of them were frees, and a lot harder than this one. And as we can see here, Nigel Clancy breaking the ball down, goes up along the field. And Nigel Clancy drives on again. At this stage, they were just coming in hordes. And there Brian Walsh on his left leg just swung it in there in the back of it. And at this stage, really, they were just threw caution to the wind and kept coming forward in droves. And really, that was good attacking play by Sligo. And he took it very well in the end.
In the end, I felt sorry for Sligo that Mick Curley didn't give them another minute or two. You know, this question of injury time and added time on is very debatable. I mean, Kildare benefited out of it the last day to draw in extra time, which was 2 minutes, 2+ minutes. I mean, you certainly had a good bit of injury time today, and I felt, you know, most referees would have nearly given Sligo a chance of winning the kick-out and maybe a chance of equalising. And like I said, most neutrals wouldn't have complained. Maybe that would have been a chance for both teams to up their performance for the next day.
Well,
but
perhaps that may be the case, however, from Michael Curley's point of view, it was all nice and neat, I suppose, down at Dr. Hyde Park in Roscommon today. Not everything was quite nice and neat about the other game we saw today, the replay between Meath and Kildare. Let's have a look at some of the highlights with Gerard Canning.
Out here. They left just one man inside, that was Ollie Murphy, and Martin Ryan had difficulty getting it away, and here comes Murphy!